Okay, so get this. We're going to dive into turning your smartphone into a ham radio.
Huh. Interesting.
I know, right? That always connected lifeline
Right.
becoming a tool for when you don't want to be online, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty fascinating. What do you think?
It really is. It's like
Yeah.
it really highlights DIY electronics and amateur radio coming together.
Yeah.
It's really cool, this blend of nostalgia and cutting-edge tech. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Taking that old school joy of just like tinkering
Right.
and aiming it at something so incredibly relevant today, right?
Totally. Yeah,
Staying connected, especially when the grid's down.
exactly.
That's what we're looking at today with the KV4P HT.
Okay.
That's the name of this kit, and we've got
That's right.
YouTube videos, blog posts. They even have an official site
Wow.
that we're pulling all this from.
So from what I've gathered, this KV4P HT, it's designed to turn, like your Android phone, into a VHF transceiver.
And get this, it's only about $35 for the parts.
Really?
Yeah, that's less than some gourmet coffee orders these days.
It's pretty remarkable, that's for sure.
It is.
Especially given that we're talking about like completely off-grid communication.
So no cell towers, no internet,
Right.
but I can still send a message like across town.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah.
That's huge for emergencies, remote areas.
Exactly. It really drives home how important it is to have options, especially when it comes to communication during like emergencies or natural disasters.
For sure, for sure. Okay, but so the videos show people soldering, 3D printing.
Yeah.
Help me out here. How does a pile of parts become like a ham radio with my phone running the show?
Basically, at the heart of it all,
Yeah.
you've got this DR818B radio board,
Okay,
and this is what actually transmits and receives the radio signals.
gotcha. So that's handling the actual wireless communication part.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
Then there's the ESP32 microcontroller.
okay.
Now think of that as the brains of the operation. This is managing everything and allowing your phone to actually talk to that radio board.
And all of this comes together on a custom PCB, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
The PCB is connecting everything and gives a place for all the components and the antenna. And what's really fascinating is that your phone basically becomes the user interface.
Oh, wow.
You're using a familiar screen
All right.
and probably even apps to actually control the radio.
So instead of those like knobs and buttons you see on like traditional radio,
Yeah, exactly. It's all
on touch screen.
supposedly, yeah.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, it's really cool. But you mentioned soldering.
Yeah.
Are we talking like serious electronic skills to build this?
Right. Yeah.
You don't need to be like an electrical engineer or anything.
Okay.
The soldering looks pretty straightforward from what I've seen,
Okay.
even for beginners and these sources we've got. Like there's this detailed YouTube video
Yeah.
that breaks it all down step by step.
Oh, cool.
They even demonstrate how to 3D print a two-color case for it.
Wow. 2-color 3D printing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It seems like they're really trying to make the building process accessible.
That's great. And it's open source too, right?
Yeah, it is.
So people can like customize, share improvements, all that.
Exactly. And that open source aspect is huge.
Yeah.
It really speaks to a collaborative spirit, you know,
Mhm.
and it allows for a lot of innovation and adaptation within the community.
Right. Right.
But let's dive into what this thing can actually do.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
So the KV4P HT, it uses a dedicated Android app to control everything.
So my phone screen basically becomes like a ham radio display.
Essentially, yeah.
Ah.
The app gives you all the standard features you'd expect on a handheld transceiver.
Oh, cool.
Multiple channels, memory storage for frequencies, even text-based communication using something called APRS.
Wait, texting? Like over radio waves?
Yeah.
What? Tell me more about this APRS thing.
So APRS is interesting. It's a messaging system designed specifically for ham radio. And get this, it even lets you send your location information too.
Wow, that's incredible. So you're saying I'm not just limited to voice communication.
Nope.
Like in an emergency, being able to text your location, even when cell service is down, that could be a game changer.
It'd be huge.
Yeah, for sure. It's like having this like high-tech survival tool,
Right.
but disguised as your like everyday smartphone.
Yeah.
Speaking of smartphones, what about the audio quality?
Mhm.
Because we are talking about radio waves here.
Right.
Is it all crackly and staticky? You know what I mean?
So from what I've seen, the audio quality is actually one of the KV4P HT's strong points.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they talk about clear audio with adjustable filters and something called squelch control to minimize that background noise.
Squelch control.
Yeah, it's basically a feature
Okay.
that cuts out static and noise when no one is transmitting.
Gotcha.
So you're not just like listening to a wall of hiss all the time.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got clear audio, text messaging, location sharing,
Yeah, it seems
all through this little device.
Yeah.
Are there any, like, limitations?
Of course.
Okay.
No technology is perfect. Yeah.
Right, right. What are we working with?
One of the main ones is range.
Okay.
So the antenna that comes standard,
Yeah.
it's small, it's portable,
Right.
but it's not going to transmit as far as a larger, more powerful antenna.
Yeah, you're probably not going to be talking to someone across the country with this.
Right, it's more for local communication.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. But there are ways to, like, hook up an external antenna.
You can, yeah, for a greater range.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
What about other, like, drawbacks?
Well, another limitation
Yeah.
is that the KV4P HT, at least for now,
Okay.
it's only compatible with Android phones.
So no iPhone love?
Not yet, but remember, this is open source.
That's right, yeah.
So there's always a chance someone in the community will develop an iOS-compatible version down the line.
Right, fingers crossed for that. Because, I mean, even with those limitations, this feels like,
Yeah.
it could be a game changer, especially in a world that's so reliant on technology.
Right.
And frankly, prone to disruptions these days.
Totally.
But I mean, building this yourself,
Yeah.
it's not just about the end product, is it?
No, not at all.
There's a learning curve here,
Oh, for sure.
like a whole skill set involved.
Absolutely. Building this, you're learning about soldering, you're learning about 3D printing, basic electronics, even radio theory if you want to go that deep.
Oh.
These are valuable skills.
Yeah.
And you can apply them to all sorts of projects.
Yeah, and it opens up a whole world of understanding, too.
Right.
About how technology actually works.
Exactly.
Which is, I mean, that's empowering, right?
Very much so.
You're not just a consumer of technology.
Oh.
You're a creator.
You're in the driver's seat, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I can only imagine the sense of accomplishment
Oh, I bet.
when you build something with your own hands.
Oh, absolutely.
And it actually, like, works.
Totally. That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This feels like it embodies the spirit of ham radio,
It does, yeah.
that experimentation, that, like, innovation, the community aspect.
Absolutely.
Oh, and speaking of the ham radio community,
Yeah.
we haven't touched on this yet. You need a license, right?
You do.
To transmit legally.
You need an amateur radio license, yeah.
Okay, so it's not just about building this cool gadget.
Right.
There's a responsibility here.
There is.
You need to understand the rules of the road.
Yes, exactly. The rules of the airwaves in this case.
Exactly, yeah.
But getting a license, it's not as tough as it might sound.
Okay, good to know.
There are tons of resources online.
Yeah,
And the ham radio community itself is incredibly supportive,
that's great.
especially for newcomers.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's more than just a hobby then, right?
It is, yeah.
It's about, like, responsible communication and
Correct.
connecting with this whole community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes you back to what we were saying earlier, about the KV4P HT being like a gateway into this whole world,
Right.
the world of ham radio, with its history and its global reach and the focus on learning and just like exploring,
It's amazing how this project combines those traditional elements, with something that's as everyday as a smartphone.
I know, right?
Makes you think about, like, what the future of this technology could be
Absolutely.
and the potential applications beyond what we've even talked about.
It's exciting to think about, yeah. We've touched on emergencies in remote areas, but what about something like disaster relief?
Oh, yeah.
Teams on the ground using these devices
Yeah.
to coordinate aid, communicate where normal infrastructure is down.
That's huge. It would be like this low-cost, easy-to-deploy communication solution,
Exactly.
especially in parts of the world where traditional radio equipment, might be harder to come by.
Right, I think about scientific research
That's
and
true.
people out in the field
Yeah.
using these to stay connected. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty amazing.
It is. It makes you really appreciate the DIY nature of all this.
It does, yeah.
Like, empowering people, communities
Yeah,
to make their own communication solutions. That's powerful.
it really is.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this KV4P HT so interesting.
Yeah.
It's pushing the boundaries, right?
Right.
But what we think is possible with technology, with something as simple as a smartphone, you know what I mean?
For sure. For sure.
And it does it in a way that's accessible, that's affordable.
Right.
It encourages participation, encourages innovation.
It's really cool. It's like, it makes you appreciate the
It does, yeah.
ingenuity, the the spirit of that open source community.
Absolutely.
Who knows what other crazy DIY radio
Oh,
projects
no, right?
we'll see using smartphones as the jumping off point.
Oh, yeah.
It's really exciting. But I think for now, the KV4P HT, it's a testament to what you can accomplish. When you approach technology with that sense of curiosity, with
Right.
that like DIY ethos
Absolutely.
and that desire just to connect with the world around us, right?
It's a good reminder, too,
Ah.
that sometimes the most interesting stuff, the coolest innovations,
Yeah,
they come from the most unexpected places.
they do. They do.
And that we're all capable of pushing those boundaries a little bit,
Totally, totally. So if you're out there listening to this
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, building my own radio, learning some new skills, tapping into this world of ham radio,
Yeah,
this KV4P HT, it seems like the perfect place to start.
absolutely.
It's affordable,
It is.
it's approachable, and who knows,
Yeah.
it might just spark a lifelong passion for all of this stuff, right?
It could, easily. Communication, technology, the magic of radio waves, it's all there.
It's all there. Well, that's about all the time we've got for today's deep dive.
It went by fast.
It did. It did. Connecting with everyone out there,
Yeah.
exploring all this cool technology. It's always a blast.
I always enjoy it.
Me too, me too. We'll catch you all on the next one.
That's good.